on how, okay, got it. A little booklet, like sort of on referrals and how to really use social media and how to use all the different networks that Keller Williams has, to really be more purposeful about how we look for referral business, right? So, so we were talking this week, and I said to him, that we actually don't have a lot of things. We have all kinds of things like the color real estate and all these other things, and we really don't have anything on some of the other networks, and especially the Rainbow Network. And so I just thought that that would be kind of a cool thing. So this isn't just about the Rainbow Network, but it's about getting referrals and plugging into the networks that Keller Williams does have already. And now it's just a matter of plugging in. So Kurt, when did you get into real estate, and tell us where you are and what your main thing is?
I got into real estate, I think right after you, right? We went to the same Ignite class that was what, 5.5 years ago?
Oh, it's been 7 years. It was beginning of 2016 is when we took that Ignite. And I always tell this story, but you guys, there were 35 people in this Ignite class. In person, obviously. We were all in a classroom, and Kurt and I were in the back seat together, like, oh my God, I don't know how are we gonna get through this? What are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? Do you get this? I don't get it. And out of that 35 people, there's literally, I think 3 or 4 of us left. Am I right?
Correct, 3.
So 3, yeah. So yeah, you gotta just keep on plugging through. So anyway, go on.
7 years ago. 6.5 years ago,
yeah.
But I'm in Portland, Oregon. I would show you the rain, but it's not exciting because I know you're in sunny California. So we'll just stick to that. So Sonia, we're going to talk about network groups, correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, you are just very systematic with your referral, like steps that you take every time you become or either you scan each other's, Kelly app, or become, add each other on command referral networks. Can you talk about some of the steps that you do after that when you connect with another agent somewhere else? And like, what are some of the steps that you do to be more purposeful about capturing that referral network?
So, there's many groups that we can join in our KW network. I would learn how to tap in and find out what groups there are. And Sonia, you can help with that as well. So in my particular network, I think there's maybe 2,000-3,000 people in that particular network, and that's the Rainbow Network. Typically, when someone is new into the group, they're announced with a picture. So what I've done is taken it a step further. Rather than saying, hey, look, welcome to the group, I'll do that as well, but then I'll stalk the person and send them a card I actually have it down, it's been a pre-written card, welcoming them in to the network, providing my information, letting them know, hey, look, if I have any referrals your way, I'd like to build up this partnership. And it's a really cool card, and most people leave it up in their cubicle or on their wall bulletin board, so they remember if their office has a referral into my area, that person could be my advocate in that market center.
So basically, you find an agent, and immediately there's an actual physical piece of mail, and you don't need to know their home address because you send it directly to their office, which is public information, which you can easily find out by stalking them. And whether it's through the yellow pages in Cal Williams or through the referral network, or if it's just through, it could be a Remax agent, right? And you could still find their office address if you have or maybe they gave you their business card, right? And so by sending it to the office, you're actually capturing not only that person, but the entire office. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And to take it a step further, then I calendar to contact that person and just see how they are doing, and if there's anything I can help or provide a value to them to help build their business. That solidifies the relationship within that particular market center as well. And even if they don't have a referral for me, they're the first ones to step up within their own market center if there's a need in my area. And typically I will get that referral.
Yeah. It's so genius. So you guys get this? Isn't that awesome? So don't send it to their home, the thank you card or whatever you're sending to people, send it to the office, because it normally, especially if it's a cute thank you card like yours is, it's just going to go on the wall. At least all of mine go on my magnetic board. And then now when someone in the office like, hey, I need a referral in Portland, Oregon, I'm like, oh my God, you got to talk to my friend Kurt. He's awesome. Here's his info right here. Right. So I think that that's totally genius. And then, so do you also do like a instant message or anything like that?
No, no, I don't. Not an instant message. I like something physical to go to them. So you can touch, feel. I love texture, right?
Yeah.
So it's something physical that they can have. And then I do my follow-up from that, because it seems like not what people typically would do. I think a lot of people would iMessage, but I don't do that. In one of my follow-up conversations I have with them, I also get their birthday. Everyone loves to be acknowledged for their birthday until you get older, correct? I don't know what the drop-off age is, but what I've done is I have invested in $5 Starbucks cards.
Yeah.
And for people in that network, I'll also send them a $5 gift card to Starbucks.
Yeah.
On their birthdays. And it's not that expensive, you guys.
Yeah, especially because it's a targeted network for you, right? It's not like everyone in your database and every 5,000 friends on Facebook. Like, it's not all of those people. It's more of those actual like relationships that you have actually had conversations with and met. Yeah.
And
so
take a step further. This is a Facebook group. Okay. So I just wanted to ensure that you all knew that, but there's several groups out there that you can join and be involved with and be relevant. I think the key word is to be relevant on those sites.
Yeah. On that note, Kurt, I wanted to spring up one more thing. You also started a totally different type of a Facebook group in Portland, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell everybody what that is and how would that like plug into their lives here? It's nothing to do with the Rainbow Network, but yeah.
No. And this is what's really interesting, because we have over 13,000 people in the group as of today. And it just started with, I think, myself, and I started a Facebook group called Oregon Homes for Sale and Rent. I had seen that some people in other states had done that, and I just kind of came into my feed and I looked and there wasn't one in Oregon. So I set up that group and, set up that Facebook group, and then just started putting information like blogs, things like that on it. And then I started putting listings, and then I started inviting like other brokers so they could put their listings in there too. Or if they have a need for a buyer need. And it's grown beyond that. So now we have the public is out there. And so we have individual people who are looking to potentially sell, who want a CMA, who potentially are looking for something to buy in the state of Oregon. And it's just grown immensely. Now, this is the really interesting thing, and I've been talking to my MAPS coach about it. I haven't promoted myself on that. No one knows who has that group.
Nowhere does it say Kurt Davidson Realtor. It just is like, seems like a community group, right?
It's a community group. And I was waiting for about 10,000 people to join before I may now slip in maybe a blog or something relevant, even when it comes to like my city and maybe a new restaurant that I want to promote, or maybe it's a lender who I'd like to have talk about the economy. So I'm going to start every now and then putting myself in so I can be very relevant in that group, but I did not want to do it initially because I didn't want to promote myself. I wanted to really bring in the group and have it be very effective and be very successful for the public and for other brokers.
Awesome. It's so cool. So hopefully you'll catch that. So it's starting like a community group where it's not necessarily about, anything having to do with real estate. But I mean, I'm in that group and I've seen people be like, oh my God, I can't find a place to live anywhere. Who can help me? Like they're like, oh, I have a dog and that nowhere does it take dogs and this and that. And what are the legal rules around this? And it seems like you have something really cool there, not only it's not all on your shoulders, but I mean, you at least get the information then from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a lot of responsibility falls on me and us on my end is to accept new members. We're being very cautious of who we're accepting. We don't want any spam or anything like that on there.
So who's on your team, by the way? Does somebody help you with that?
Yes, I have Sabrina helping me with that. However, on the weekends, no one seems to work. So I'm in a good way. All right. And no one's working other than me with admin. And so I'll just structure my day and take maybe about an hour to go through that and then other social media sites so I can be done with it and move on with the rest of my day. We also pre-approve posts too. So we don't get people wanting to sell furniture or this, what do you call those things? Chainsaws. I don't know. Is that a chainsaw? But
Okay.
so we actually we do filter through that. But it's amazing how many how much business I do get out of that. Many times if we pre-approve the posts, we'll see in there it's from a consumer who's saying, hey, I'm looking to buy in this particular area in Portland and I don't have a broker, real estate broker. So before we post it, we'll go make that contact with them through the iMessage, build that relationship, and then put the post up.
You've got a good thing there. Yeah, I've definitely seen that happen. And yes, there are a lot of realtors in that group too. So I mean, I felt like that was going to be somebody's question just for,
So if you're thinking about setting up a group, find your passion, whatever it may be. It could be dog walking, great parks, something that you have a passion for, and start a group and be relevant in that group and be relevant in the community. And not only you'll grow personally, but also business-wise. Yeah.
I love that. Does anybody have any comments or questions, by the way? You guys just jump in. We're not trying to just like dictate here, but I just thought that this was such a cool topic and you've really taken it further, or if anyone has any other referral ideas, feel free to chime in, but this is,
Yeah, this is Philip. I just want to share, I think it's genius because especially Los Angeles is such a transient type of area. People, very few of us are born and raised. I mean, there's a lot of us who are born and raised here, but we have more people moving in and out, and the turnover rate's pretty high. And someone comes here to take on a job and they're at it for 4 years. In that time, they bought a house, got even to sell it and then move again. And we have a ton of relocation companies. And I think if we're referring out, whatever the clip is, 20% to 35% to another KW agent who's referring the clients this way, I mean, that's massive. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's KW. I know we have one through our board, through CAR, but it's such a giant pool that you're kind of rolling dice. We're here, you can connect with people, whether I assume it's either KW Connect or through any of the sources you're talking about. But what you're talking about is building a deeper relationship and farming agents who will potentially send people this way, and you're going to send out clients their way. And you just kind of get to know the markets in those different areas. If we needed to send someone to Portland, Oregon, all of a sudden, who's like, hey, my client is selling their home. Kurt, do you happen to know anyone in Lincoln? I know that's a little far away, but do you have someone that you would trust? And then we could facilitate a deal through you and your guys and network and go through there.
Well, and that's a good point. I know of someone in Seattle, they realized that most of their referrals coming in were from San Francisco. So they started a group and it was really catchy. It was something about San Fran to Seattle. What do you need to know about Seattle? So it was basically, hey, we can help connect you to neighborhoods, talk to you about neighborhoods. Or if you have any frustrations about, once you move from Seattle, maybe the culture is a little bit different. I don't know, but it's a support group for people going from the Bay Area to Seattle. And I thought that was genius as well.
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, I was going to mention that because if you do have something, if you guys haven't taken a look on command on the referrals tab, you can switch when you look for an agent on the top down menu. You can find agents by production and so forth and so forth. But in that production menu, if you just change it to the referral patterns instead of by production, it will take whatever city market center you're affiliated with and show you where all the referrals went to in the last 12 months, right? And you will also see, and you can reverse it going, where did they come from? So I don't know if you, Kurt, are purposeful and go out and look at where are they coming from and then specifically try to find agents. I mean, like if you see that 5% of all the referrals came to Portland from Torrance last year, then you likely want to know someone in that city. Like, hey, I know you guys are sending referrals to Portland. Maybe there's a new Amazon campus or the Nike or Intel employees moving that way, and that's why they're all coming. So do you go look for specific area agents ever? Do you ever go, oh, I don't have someone?
Oh yeah, this is the exciting thing. And this is how I started this, what you just mentioned going into KW, is the fact that U-Haul comes out with statistics every year about who's moving into your city and who's moving out. I look at that because that's like everybody, not just KW. And I'll pinpoint some of these market centers. And if I have a listing, I'm going to use the paid ad through Facebook and Command to advertise a listing in that particular region to have name affiliation in Portland. And I'll title it something like, hey, you can get this like amazing duplex that built in 1912 for 1.1 million. Where does this happen in your neck of the woods? Something like that. And so they look at it, but not only they will, the public will look at it, it's going to be other brokers too. And it's name affiliation being consistent with it. And so I typically will do Facebook ads in SoCal, the Bay Area, and Seattle, because that's where most of our people are coming from. So take it a step further.
Yeah, I think you dated yourself by talking about the U-Haul list, because I've only heard certain people.
It just came out. Here's what I do every morning, you guys. I spend about half hour looking at the news. I pull up the local news. And so when I see the U-Haul stat comes out, I really get excited and focus in on that. So no, I didn't age myself. It's like it was just on my phone from Apple News within the last couple of days.
You look much younger than you are, so everyone's going, what the hell? What you
all right, this is why I came on.
All right. So here we go. All right. So you'll take an ad if you know that, for instance, people are moving to your area from Los Angeles. You'll take a Portland listing but run the area that it runs in the LA area, right?
That is correct.
Cool. And then title it something great, and yeah, there you go. So that's one way to get the not only agent to agent referrals, but just in general, people contacting you from different areas, right? So
yeah, and the key is, I think I've used this word, Sonia, and you guys, is being relevant. How challenge yourself on thinking outside the box, how you can be relevant. And I think that's, in addition to the database, that builds your success.
Yeah, I love that. All right, anyone have any comments on this, or anyone want to chime in terms of referrals? In general,
I think it's kind of a, not to just keep jumping on there, but I think this is a great lead generation pillar. A handful of us volunteer at our local board, and we get to network that way. Some people are part of ARIA, NARA, just a variety of different things. And I think those become opportunities to get to know the agents in your community. But again, I just kind of go back to my coach saying having 4 lead generation pillars. And a lot of my stuff is really around SOI, but how do I grow my SOI, right? SOI is also the agents that we get to network with. I also think about the agents who eventually kind of retire early in a sense of, hey, they've accomplished their goals or they just found a new passion. And who better to refer people than to Kurt or Louisa or Mona, like whoever you have like a really great relationship with. I'm just going through the roster on participants, but the idea is like, hey, build solid connections and relationships with people when they're ready to transition out. Their database essentially becomes your database. Now, that's kind of part more macro than just the ones and twos that come through over the course of time. Yet at the same time, I mean, who wouldn't want an extra 4 deals a year from networking, right? I mean, if every lead generation pillar provided you 5 deals a year, and you're actively working 7 or 8 of them, well, that's potentially 40 deals. And in the last few years, I've really only actively worked maybe 3 to 4 lead generation pillars, all within SOI. And we've averaged out about 20 to 30 deals in the last 3 years, right? So you kind of figure, okay, well, if I add more or just dial deep on those, maybe I can get to 10 or 15 or 20 per pillar with the team and with the operations aspect. But also for everyone on the call, not to get too lost in the weeds too, right? Like what's working for you is working for you. Now you're going to build this 3rd pillar, 4th pillar, 5th pillar, 6th pillar, and all it includes is just this phone and showing up to like maybe mega camp or family reunion or jumping onto Facebook and connecting with people. Something I started doing, I actually am talking to myself more than anyone else, is updating my KW Connect profile. I think it still says something about millennial realtor at Porter Ranch. Not really there anymore. I don't feel like a millennial, but at the same time, it's something to kind of work on and start with something small and then mushroom that out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know, Kurt, maybe you can tell us what your kind of like thinking system around this is like in terms of scheduling around the week. But I think the way that my brain at least works is it's easy for me to go, okay, on like example, on Mondays, I can go through and connect with agents through the command referral network, like find some people, right? And maybe send them that. Once they've added me on the network, then I can send them that thank you card, like what Kurt was talking about. And then Tuesday, do something else, right? Like set them up on some sort of a, I don't know, smart plan maybe. There's agent to agent referral smart plans inside of command, right? Invite them to be another day, focus on that Facebook group that's more hyper local to your area and invite other people to be a part of that as well, right? Like somehow compartmentalizing so that all those moving parts are being taken care of. What do you have for that?
It's worked for me. I love using the D2 system, and I've got it down where when I'm working on A's, I also consider that agents. So that's my outreach, not just like someone's last name like Appleby, but I'm calling all agents, within that week. And then when I get to the R's during that week, I reach out to referral partners, people who have referred clients to me. It could be anyone, it could be another business, or it could be something. That's how I was able to structure it to make it easier for myself anyway.
So that's really cool. So talk about, are you doing any or much business to business like referrals?
It's building up now. Now, remember, I really haven't been involved in the community. When I say I've been in real estate 5 years or whatever, it seems like 4. But I only knew 5 people when I moved up to Portland from SoCal. Yeah. And so for me, I'm still building that foundation. And now I'm working with handyman contractors, especially. They're the ones that have been referring business to me the most. And then also Portland agents, where we're at, we're 2 states, like right across the rivers, Washington. So I've been also reaching out to local agents who aren't licensed in Washington, but it's still part of the city for referrals. It's 20 minutes away in the state of Washington. So it's just thinking outside the box as much as you can.
I love that. So where do you, how else do you connect with people? Like what happens? Let's talk about the events real quick. So family reunion, mega camp is the one coming up next. When do you start planning for mega camp?
I'm already planning for it.
It's a trick question. We've been talking about it all week, you guys. So
oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Sorry, my dogs are like finding up. It's never too soon to start. And actually, oh my gosh.
Because you do it a little differently. That's why. I think like some people think like, oh, agenda's not even out yet, you know, blah, blah, blah. But when you go, you do all the totally different things.
Yeah, I'm making the connections now in preparation for my trip. What I didn't anticipate was going to mega camp like 5 days earlier. However, the way things are working out, yeah, because I'm going to be making connections there and some amazing connections too, as we talked about potentially having a booth at the marketplace. So yeah, I've got a lot going on, and it's all about building relationships. You know, those QR codes that we would take pictures of, Sonia, like when it first came out, it was really exciting. However, I've noticed that people have gotten away from it. Like, why am I doing this? I'll never hear from you. So be very purposeful. If you're going to scan someone's information, let them know what you intend to do. And that also helps you become more accountable to yourself.
Yeah, you know, my friend Lucy, she lives in Dubai. She's with Keller Williams there. And Lucy is always like, whenever I see her, she's like, okay, look at me. So again, most of my clients are Chinese, Pakistani, Indian investors. If you get those people, call me. Like she like says it again and again and again every time I see her at family reunion or wherever, right? Like, this is who I'm looking for. This is what I do. Here are the areas I service. Say it again with me. And
yeah. Absolutely. And I know we have just a couple minutes left, but it's thinking outside the box in this way too. I had a couple of Korean clients, and each of them invited me to the same church. And apparently it was this mega church. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just go with them. So, I mean, I'm like praising Jesus in Korean, you know, it's this Pentecostal thing. However, as a result of doing that, I've now built a Korean-based sphere and community where I'm becoming their advocates as well. So think outside the box. If you don't want to go to church, just go this like one time. Oh, Sonia, remember I made you go to church with me one time? But anyway.
It's like, get me in mimosa, please.
That was the first time I've been to church in years, but I was very purposeful of wanting to meet these two clients in their comfort zone. And as a result, it just really built with the Korean community.
In your uncomfortable place, right?
That's
so,
like praising Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's, you guys, if you guys have any questions, you know, I know we're at the bottom of the hour, so to speak, but referrals, man, that's the way to do it. I tried to get Kurt to cold call one time, and he told me later that was the only time he ever cold called. In 7 years. Right?
Haven't cold called yet. Yep. It's got to be a warm call. So I know they like me first, hopefully. Sonia, you could have a seminar on this whole subject all day, because there's so many important aspects of it. So I challenge you maybe to come up with something.
Yeah. So will you put your information in the box too? If anybody wants to contact you, please, or just get with us, we'll give you Kurt's number. But what do you guys, any takeaways or ahas or comments?
I think you had the quote of the day: meeting people in their comfort zone. You know, a lot of times we want to control the home court advantage, and you know, we start a lot on Zoom or on the call, right? But then being able to be in their environment as much as we ask them to be in our environment, whether it is like another agent or a client, that kind of hit me. And then what you do with our system, the D2DT or DT-D2 system, like when you get to A, it's like, oh, let me just call all the agents on the list or mass text or whatever it is, just to keep in touch. You kind of gave me an idea. I have a virtual assistant, and what I'll start doing, anyone who's tagged as a realtor, I'll have like the message of the week or message of the month or something like that, and have him blast that out as opposed to me doing it, type of thing. So some fantastic stuff. I think it's just a matter of us just taking some segments and adding it, not throwing all the stuff that we do out the window, but just optimizing what we're already naturally doing. We're having Bold come up soon, and the idea is to make 20 contacts a day. I'm not saying make 100 contacts just from agents, but if you're really reaching out to those networks and asking the big ask, like, hey, how can I be your go-to person here in Calabasas or fill in the blank? I would count that as a contact. Now you're going to facilitate and follow up that relationship. And you know what? If you get one average Calabasas deal, even at a 70, 75% clip, I mean, that's a significant commission. all things being considered. And that's just kind of my little perspective on it.
Yeah, good, great points. Yep.
The being hyper local, like I think if you can, like you were just talking about the relevance, being relevant, like get to that point, think of yourself as the mayor of the town where people can call you about all kinds of resources for the city. And that, I think that's kind of one way to look at the referral network as well, without just asking for referrals. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but when Kurt does the postcard, it basically says, great to connect with you. I look forward to sending referrals your way. All right. So it's not him going, I look forward to being referral partners. Like I want something from you. He says, I look forward to sending referrals your way. And when you receive that card, I mean, I've been on the receiving end of that. I'm like, oh, cool. He wants to send me referrals. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. It's going to go right there. Right. So, so it's just, I think that's a really small detail, but it's really important because it makes a person keep the card.
Yeah. And we just scratched the surface here.
Okay. Yeah. So, awesome. Hey, thanks, other Kurt.
How does he spell it? He spells it the right way.
Yeah, with the
Yay.
K. Kurt KW. All right. So thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for being our Kurt Celebrity. And I appreciate you doing this for us. And if anybody wants to connect with Kurt and send referrals to Portland, please do so.
Or just anything else as well. I want to be here for all my peers because we're here to build anyone's business up, and likewise ours. We learn a lot from collaborating. So yeah, I'm all for it. If you guys have anything else to share that could help me and we can help you, that's great. That's the key.
Awesome. Kurt with a K, collaborating with a K, collaborating with a K.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We're gonna go now. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend. Make it a good one. Be the sunshine.